On straight handoffs yesterday, removing the one Wildcat play and the one run by Jacoby, your backs got 34 yards rushing on 23 carries, which is obviously very poor. When you looked at the tape, was the offensive line simply not creating holes? Was that entirely the problem, or were there some runs where Miles and Savant could have achieved more but didn't?
I think we give a little credit to Houston. I thought they did some good things. Collectively, O-line, backs, receivers, tight ends, you got to do a better job of creating some more space for the backs to run. And backs got to do a better job of running. Collectively, as a group, we just didn't do enough in the run game to have sustained success in that area. And we need to do a better job of that. Talk about that with these guys today. We're playing against a very good run defense on Thursday. Going to turn the page to that, and we're going to have to play a lot better.
One other quick thing from me. Did Tua throw today? Do you have any update on his availability for Thursday, and is Will Fuller out Thursday?
Will be out. Will Fuller will be out on Thursday. Tua has not thrown yet. We'll see him a little later.
Thanks, Brian.
Daniel?
Hey, Brian, I wanted to ask specifically about the offensive line. As you're kind of halfway through the season and you've settled on kind of a five-man line for the past couple of games, are you pleased with the progress that they've made? And has there been any thought to maybe give one of those young guys like Robert Jones or Greg Little an opportunity?
Yeah, every week we look at, the group, evaluate it, but we got to do a better job on the offensive line. We got to coach them better. They got to play better. So we'll look at, areas to improve that unit. And, those guys you mentioned, they're part of those conversations for sure.
Yeah, and I may have missed it at the Barry's question, but did you have an update on Greg Manx?
Yeah, Mans, we're still running some tests, but looks like it's something that'll keep him out this week.
David Lang?
Hey, Flo. When you're evaluating a player, how important is their ability to stay healthy in making an evaluation? And do you believe in the concept when people describe a player as being injury prone, or is that something that coaches don't think about?
Look, availability is a big part of playing in this league. And I think that goes without saying. I think our guys, they work hard to in the off season, in season, nutrition, sleep, strength training, to do everything they can to withstand the rigors of an NFL season, NFL game. So, we need as many able bodies as possible to play in this league. So, obviously, it plays a role, but again, injuries happen in this league. That's just part of it. I think we all understand that at all positions. Every team's dealing with them. And that's why we spent so much time on the guys who were backups to prepare as if they're going to be in there, because oftentimes that ends up being the case.
Now, do you think specifically with Tua, is there a concern whether he plays this week, whether he doesn't play this week? Is there a concern that you may not get enough of him on the field this season to give a proper evaluation of what he can be for this team moving forward?
Look, I think Tua's a tough kid. I think he does everything he can to be out there. He's had a couple unfortunate injuries this year. But when he's been in there, he's played well. And look, he's a tough kid. He wants to be out there. He's going to do everything he can to get out there.
Travis?
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. I wanted to ask you about your young safety tandem who have gotten an uptick in pass rush and overall production the last couple of weeks, getting after the quarterback. I was just curious to get your take on the the value of having safeties who can both come down and show pressure, but also flip out and get to the deep part of the field?
I think it gives us. I think both those young guys are doing some good things, and when you have guys who can play, down in the box, play in the deep part of the field, do a good job of disguising. Are they blitzing? Are they going, playing in coverage? Are they playing a man as its own? I think that gives us some flexibility defensively. I think those guys are improving in those areas every week, and it's helping us.
Alan?
Hi, Brian. It looked like late last week to us, at least based on your comments, that Preston Williams was trending as though he might play yesterday. And turns out that he was inactive, and Kirk Merritt got snaps after being elevated from the practice squad. So I'm wondering whether you can shed some light on the decision to make Preston inactive and whether you think he might play Thursday night.
Preston will play Thursday night.
Can you shed some light as to why he was inactive yesterday?
I mean, there's a lot that goes into it as far as things that happen at practice, happen within the building. But I expect him to be up on Thursday.
Can we say?
Sorry, Alan, I didn't realize you were.
Very quick follow-up. Based on your comments there, then should we assume there was a disciplinary issue again yesterday?
No, it wasn't a disciplinary issue. It was, we just felt like we wanted to give Kirk, wanted to elevate him for, a number of reasons, kicking game, offensively. He practiced well, last week. So that was why he was up.
Thank you.
Al?
Brian, it seems like for years, when you think of the Ravens, you think of how physical they are, especially defensively. What have you seen on film from them as far as living up to that reputation this year?
More of the same. I mean, it's a well-coached team. They're physical. They run the football. They do a good job stopping the run. They play well in the kicking game. So definitely a physical team. And, we're going to have to, play a physical ball game, play a disciplined ball game if we're going to have any success.
How do you rate your own team in terms of playing physical football?
And I think we've done it in spurts. I think we got to be more consistent across the board. But I think we're certainly capable of playing physical. We've done it at times. We have to do a lot more of it.
Omar?
I want to ask you about the offensive line play. How would you evaluate it from the Houston game? Obviously, it's been an issue all season, but it seems like there was a ton of pressure against Houston, and also needed to get an update on Greg Little because he hasn't been active all season. What does he need to do to get into that mix of guys competing for playing time?
Well, to answer your first question, we've got to be better along the offensive line. We got to do a better job in run game. Got to protect better. Those guys, our guys, understand that. It's something that's we put an emphasis on, really on a weekly basis, on a daily basis. We didn't do a good job yesterday, or a good enough job. And specific to Greg, Greg's done a good job in practice. It's been inactive, really the entire year. And that's a conversation we had this morning about potentially getting him up and getting him some playing time. So we'll see how that goes this week.
Daniel?
I want to ask about Noah for the second straight game yesterday. He was active, but didn't play any snaps. Just wanted to ask what was the thinking behind that, and is he not showing enough to at least maybe even contribute on special teams?
Yeah, Noah's actually he's done a lot of good things in practice. Obviously, we got the two, Byron and X out there who get the majority of the snaps, outside at the corner spot. So, that's where we've gone defensively. And in the kicking game, we just had some other guys we played, instead of him. So, but he's done some good things.
Alan?
Along the same lines as Greg Little, what do you need to see from Hunter Long for him to get in the game?
Yeah, Hunter's, and another guy who's, good young player. But it's a little bit of a crowded tight end room with Shaheen and Mike and Durham and Seathan. So he's been active a couple games, and but somebody who's we think is going to be a solid player in this league. I'm just waiting for his opportunity.
Does anyone else have a final question for Coach? Go ahead, Omar.
When you play a team where that they pride themselves on their physicality on a short week, how much do you have to talk to the team? Well, obviously the opponent is high caliber, but how much do you have to talk to the team about how physical the game is going to be?
I think our team understands that. I mean, we talk about playing physical every week. That's kind of you have to do that in this league if you're going to have any success. So they understand that. I think we all understand Baltimore's a physical team in all three phases. And again, if we're going to have success in the game, it's going to start up front. It's going to start on the offensive line, on the defensive line, and really across the board. We're going to have to play a physical ball game.
All right, we'll take one final question. Last question, Barry.
Ideally, you probably wouldn't want to burn elevations on a guy who doesn't get into the game. Beagle did play 3 special team snaps. He didn't use him on defense. Was the thinking that you might need him if Jerome couldn't go in terms of changing linebacker positions, or was there another reason why he was elevated but didn't play on defense?
Yeah, I mean, we were, I think you're hitting hitting it on the head with Jerome. He went out there and felt good, and we kind of had to have a little bit of a backup plan in case he wasn't able to go. But you're right, you don't want to burn him, but we were in a little bit of a scenario where, we the potential for Beagle's play or his snaps to increase, with Jerome possibly being a little bit limited. We felt like that was what was best for the team.
This is the Big O Show. This is the